Hey guys, what's up? Chano here again. Today I want to talk about ancient legendary items. Alright, so ancient legendary items are something that was introduced in patch 2.1.2. And an ancient legendary is a version of a legendary item that has 30% increase to the potential roll of stats. Not all stats are affected by an item being ancient, and we'll go over that right now. Alright, so here's my furnace. The ancient version and the normal version. Ancient to the left, normal to the right. As you can see, ancient legendaries roll with a gold border. You won't know an item is ancient until you identify it. Alright, so now let's look at the potential stats here. So the furnace on the right, which is the normal one, as you can see, the damage is about 500 less DPS than the ancient one. And now if you look at the first primary stat on both of these items, the regular furnace to the right has 1177 to 1788 damage range. The one to the left has 1582 to 2325 damage range, which is quite a bit higher. Both these items, well, mine aren't at the maximum DPS that they could roll. They're pretty close, but my one to the left doesn't have 10% damage, and then my one to the right doesn't have a max average damage roll. That's kind of aside the point. Okay, so now damage on a weapon. That's something that's affected by the 30% increase for rolling an ancient. The percent damage roll is not. The strength roll, as you can see, it is. The one on the right is 1125 max. The one on the left is 1465. So basically, all the numerical values can be increased by 30%. But the percentage stats, like cooldown, or crit chance, or crit damage, anything along those lines, those stats will not be affected by ancient items. And this actually makes it so that ancients are really good, but in some areas, an ancient roll on an item isn't going to make a big difference, if any difference at all. Now, like I said, on my ancient furnace, I have like 500 damage more. It's actually very important to have an ancient weapon, because the damage is affected by the 30% increase. So the difference between having a normal furnace or an ancient furnace is the difference between a few greater rift levels in your potential ability or capabilities to clear. So, you know, from getting a regular furnace to an ancient furnace, you're gonna go from, let's just throw out random numbers here, you're gonna be able to clear 45 with the regular furnace, and then you're gonna move all the way up to like a 49 once you get the ancient, because you're gonna get a really nice damage increase. So an ancient weapon is very important, and it does come down to the points that if you do have a normal furnace and then you get something like a Maximus, an ancient Maximus, the ancient Maximus is likely gonna be better. And we'll demonstrate this here. I'll kill a few mobs. I'll start with the normal furnace, and then I'll move to the ancient Maximus, and then I'll move to the ancient furnace. So you guys could kind of see the difference, although I'm in T6 and I'm most likely going to do lots of damage no matter what weapon I really use. But hey. Alright, so now let's look at some other pieces of gear. Now, I have an ancient helm, and that ancient helm can roll up to 1000 main stat, vitality, etc. Obviously, the crit chance is still the same. Now, an ancient helm is actually one of the better ancient items. Like I said, the ancient weapon is just about the only item that it's very, very, very important to have an ancient. All the other items, the upgrade's okay, but it's not huge. And some items, the upgrade is barely there at all. Some items, there is no upgrade. So as you can see here, we went from a 750 max to 1000 max, and that's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty good to have an ancient helm. Not gonna lie, it's pretty good, but it's not gonna make the world of difference. It's like being able to slot an extra gem into your gear. That's it. That's it. Like, by getting this ancient helm, I basically got an extra ruby and an extra amethyst slotted into my gear. And like I said, that's good. It's okay, but it's not, doesn't make a world of difference. Another item that's very similar to the helm are the gloves. The gloves have a 750 maximum roll on normal and will have 1000 on ancient. So that's about a 25% increase. So I think it's around 25 to 30%. I think it varies, the increase, but it's around that area. And on other items, it's actually even less, it seems, because if you look at an item like boots, it seems that you only get 150 stat difference. That's it. You go from 500 to 650, but at the same time, your max resist roll goes from 100 to 130, which is actually pretty good, pretty decent at least. So it doesn't make a world of difference. It really doesn't make a world of difference. I'm not sure exactly how all these things are calculated, how they decide how much bonus each item gets from being an ancient, but this is just what it is. So items with like a 500 max roll only get an extra 150, and that's your shoulders, your chest, your belt, your pants, your boots, your bracers, your rings. And rings are something where it doesn't even matter if it rolls ancient, because BIS stats for a ring are right here, getting the percent stats with the socket. Crit chance, crit damage, cooldown, socket. Same thing with my unity here. Crit chance, crit chance, elite damage, cooldown, unity. Great with the socket. That's what you're really looking for. So when something like this rolls ancient, you just roll, like, you get an extra 150 strength, 500 to 600 for 650 for being ancient. You just wind up rolling that strength off. I mean, if it's a really, really good item. Now, necklaces are a 750 stat item that will be increased to 1000, which is actually pretty decent. I think the 1000 strength could really compete with the 20% elemental. Similar could compete. I haven't exactly done the math, but again, it's not a huge deal. So like I said, it's not really a huge deal to get all these things. I think one of the best things about the ancient on these pieces of gear are the increase to resistances. An extra 30 resist for each piece of gear is going to be pretty decent when you're great at rifting in the end. But yeah, guys, that's about the difference. That's it. Ancient items are definitely not mandatory. You're gonna wind up using normal items over ancient items most of the time, because, like, you take a pair of gloves like this, these aren't ancient, but they have 8 cooldown, they have 9.5 crit chance, almost 40 crit damage, and 740 strength. These are good Raycore gloves. These are the right stats. They're great. Now, finding an ancient pair that's gonna beat the trifecta stats out, it's not going to be too easy to come by in the first place. If you do come by it, that's great, and yeah, you'll take the upgrade. But like I said, it's only going to be a little bit of a strength upgrade, and that's it. That is it. Overall, if you get your whole ancient set, all your items, I'm talking aside from your weapon, all your items, you get them all ancient, I don't even think it's going to make the same difference as the ancient weapon upgrade. All of them together. All of them together, I don't even think it's going to make the same difference. Kill a few things here. Alright, anyways, now that we talked about all that good stuff, let's go in here and start comparing these weapons. Like I said, let's start out with the normal furnace. Say you're coming from, you know, patch 2.1.1, you just came into 1.2, and you have a normal furnace, and you happen to get an ancient legendary Maximus, or you got an ancient Heart Slutter, any decent kind of weapon, and you're wondering, you know, what should I use? Alright, so this is a normal furnace. These mobs are kind of low HP, so they're kind of hard to test against. I might have to go into a different zone here. But, you know, you see some of these mobs are taking a few hits or whatever. They're not dying right away. Yeah, let's go into a different zone because these are very, very, very low HP mobs. I need higher HP mobs to really show the difference. Let's see. Maybe Fields of Misery might be a little better. Alright. See, in T6, if you have all the good gear, like, I'm pretty much one-shotting most things with a normal furnace. Right here is where the big difference is going to be, though. You see this pack, how many charges he just took? It took a little while to kill him. Some mobs I'm having to hit multiple times to get him down. But I'm still tearing through things pretty damn quickly. Now, let's say we upgrade to a Maximus. And now I actually will need to swap my gear around. We'll just run with it like this. It's cool. I'm mostly physical, but you'll just see the damage difference right here. Just a flat damage difference, and how, look at that, I'm killing the trees in one shot now. So you could just kind of see how that's better. Like, I didn't even spec into fire. I didn't change my fire element. I didn't change my Furious Charge skill. So this would actually be a little better if you did all that. But even now, like, you could just see that I am really doing pretty well. Let's try to find another pack here. Alright, here we go. 2 charges. Champion pack. Down. Ancient Maximus. By the way, this transmog is really cool. This is a Blade of Prophecy. It's a Crusader sword, so you got to get it from a Crusader. And you could see, like, even though I'm not optimized for this Maximus, that my damage just went up quite a bit. Quite a bit. All your damage is really, it's all based off of your weapon damage. Like, you look at a skill. Actually, this does 1050, but rush forward, knocking back, dealing 1050 weapon damage to enemies along your path. I say it does 1050 because Furious Charge gains every rune from Raycor, and the fire rune makes it 1050. It just doesn't display that. But regardless, 1050% weapon damage is fire. So upgrading your weapon damage is like one of the best things you could do, as long as the upgrade is big enough. Unlike weapon damage upgrades on your rings and stuff like that. It could be good, but it's not as good as like crit chance and crit damage. Alright, so as you guys could see, the Ancient Maximus is doing really well, and definitely a noticeable increase. Now, I think we need to whip the bad boy out and start playing around with the Ancient Furnace. And now this is when you're going to really start seeing mobs die pretty damn quickly. That pack just went down pretty quick. And you notice I'm not popping my cooldowns for any of this, but you could see how I'm just starting to really tear through things now. That was an accidental cooldown. So, and technically, if you set everything up, the Maximus will be better for trash mobs. Especially a Heart Slaughter. A Heart Slaughter is one of the best for trash mobs. Especially good for trials. But as you could see, as I went through the process of upgrading my weapon from a normal furnace up to an ancient weapon that was just decent, like a Maximus or a Heart Slaughter, Wrath of the Bone King, any of those weapons. And then up to the ancient furnace, it was a pretty great deal. But the biggest increase was from the normal furnace to the ancient Maximus. That was the biggest increase. Now, I do have other items, and let me actually grab some of those and show you them too. Right here, let's boom. I have a lightning skill there. My inventory is so full, guys. I collect all this gear just so, you know, I can make these videos and I could test all different things when changes like this happen. You never know what you're going to need. You know what I mean? Alright, lightning skill. Let's go swap our gem, because I do need to be in lightning for this. Lightning skill right there. Let me put this stuff away. Don't need that. My inventory is way too full. What else did I need to do? Oh yeah, I need gems. Let's take that out of the Ancient Maximus. Put it in our Sunkeeper. This is our normal furnace. Take that out. Put it in our Odin Sun. And now we have a lightning setup with Sunkeeper and Odin Sun. These are both ancient. And again, like I said, the increase from the normal furnace is still going to be better with this kind of setup. Now, a normal furnace compared to just like a blank ancient two-hander, I don't really think it's going to be an upgrade. I don't think it's going to be an upgrade unless your furnace is really bad. If you have a decent furnace or a good furnace that's non-ancient, an ancient blank weapon like the Grandfather or something, I don't think it's going to beat it. Alright, so let's switch our charge to the lightning one. And let's go back in and start tearing some stuff up. We could go to the cemetery here. Oh, wait, no, not the cemetery. I meant to go to Weeping Hollow. Well, yeah, Weeping Hollow will be fine. That'll be fine. Okay. And now this is dual wield. Dual wield ancients. I'll actually show you these items a little bit more. These things are close to 3k and can potentially reach 3k. This Odin Sun isn't even enchanted yet, because I'm not sure what I want to do. I have to do the math to figure it out, and I've just been lazy. I don't really use this thing a lot. But these ancients are pretty good. This Sunkeeper is really, really, really awesome. Great stats, almost max elite damage, and 10% damage, pretty decent damage roll and everything. Really, really good Sunkeeper. And as you can see, I am just tearing through things. Again, pretty much better than the normal furnace. And you could even do this combination, like if you get the Sunkeeper, you could do this combination with a Devastator that you could craft. A Devastator has 20%. A Devastator has a 20% fire damage increase. So you could go in a fire spec with it. And you could use it as your main hand damage. Although Furious Charge does alternate between main hand and offhand. So the first charge, it's going to be main hand. The second charge, offhand. Back and forth. And as you can see, it's pretty good. Pretty good. Not even having to use Blood Shard and killing, you know, the regular zombies one hit. Pretty good. Really trying to find them champs and elites. They're hiding from me. Right here. Here we go. As you can see, 3 hits. Boom. And it was only 3 hits because I charged them semi-hastily. But if I would charge them once and let the 3 seconds of dot damage between the pain enhancer and the 5-piece ray core actually go in, it would be less if I let my abilities do their full damage. So yeah, like I said, you could craft a Devastator, especially if you don't have anything at all right now. If you don't have anything at all, you could craft a Devastator and you know, use it as a one-handed weapon. Make sure it rolls an ancient and it rolls pretty decent and everything. You could use that. You could potentially use that. It would be pretty good. And then you could combine it with whatever other offhand type weapon you could come up with. If you don't, you could just craft like another ancient one-handed weapon, anything you want. Any ancient one-handed weapon you could kind of find or come up with. If you could get a Burning Axe of Sancus ancient, or if you could get a Sunkeeper ancient especially, great. Until you manage to get an Ancient Maximus, an Ancient Heartslaughter, Ancient Wrath of the Bone King. Until you get that good Ancient two-hander. And then until you get that Ancient Furnace. So yeah, guys. I mean, that's basically how it's going right now. I know a lot of people don't really have this kind of gear to play around with and really kind of test these things out. So I figured I'd make this video to help kind of do that for you. So you could kind of plan out what you're going to do in terms of progressing your gear. Anyways, I hope this video helped. If you want, like, subscribe, share. It'd be much appreciated, guys. And I will see you tomorrow. Later.